Broadcasting live from the only establishment in town that can't kick him out. His own basement. The world according to Rockett.
Hi, Rockett man. What is up? Thanks for being here. I didn't realize when I made the commitment, day 1, day 6, day 11, and the spring game to do the analysis on those days to get a perspective, excuse me, based on what Heupel said about the first 5 days, they're all shite. The second 5 days, dramatic improvement from the first 5 days, and the third 5 days, they're completely different players than they started with at the spring. So that's kind of how I based my video schedule on as we go through the spring. And I didn't realize at the time that day 6 was the conclusion of the first scrimmage, which is kind of interesting to hear him talk about that. This episode of the broadcast is brought to you by Destin Family Portraits. You got people going to Destin or the Gulf Coast? I know a guy that does portraits on the beach. I know that guy. I know him well, actually. Visit the website. Let me know what you think. It's been a year down here. This is kind of great fun. All right, let's get to Heupel and a cool little press conference here. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments.
Huge day here on campus for us. We got 15 former players that will be working out here in just a few minutes for Pro Day. Excited to see those guys, go through this part of the NFL experience. Guys that have helped us, turn this program around and been a huge part of winning a lot of football games. Also great this morning we were able to get into Neyland and go scrimmage for the first time here. We're 6 days in, and great to see the competition, plays made on both sides of the football, and as much as anything, thought played extremely hard from snap to whistle. So bunch that we'll learn from here as we continue to push after Easter break on the back end of spring ball. So open it up.
When you go into a first scrimmage like this, what are you looking for? What's I know playing hard, but beyond playing hard, what's important for you today?
It does start with playing hard. At this point in spring ball, you want your vets to act like vets and play sound football, play penalty free, but go out and execute. You got a lot of young guys inside your program that are getting their first taste of what it means to go play live football. So by any stretch of the imagination, not going to be perfect. But you want to see guys that are going to go make plays. And that's the offense, it's the defense. We did a lot of good in special teams and primarily in punt and punt return. You want to see guys that are putting themselves in a position here that you can start gaining trust in who they are as a player. And when something doesn't go right, too, I think it's important that we see guys that are going to respond the right way. So a lot of things that we're going to have to learn from today off the video when they come back in tomorrow.
Speaking of that young group, what stood out most with that group today?
Yeah, I don't know if there was any just, one guy. Mike made a big play down the sideline today. I thought he competed hard throughout the course of the day. Thought some of our young DBs showed up just tackling in space as we go through spring ball. Those fundamentals are extremely important. But, Boo Carter did a great job making plays in space. And some of those guys are consistently showing up day to day as they go through this experience and grow.
Speaking with the younger guys, you said last week that you really want to feel a sense of urgency with them on the field, and that can kind of be difficult with them coming in so new. What have you seen urgency-wise from them on both sides of the field?
Just their competitive spirit when they've been out on the practice field. Those young guys don't take a back seat to anybody. Individual drills are up in the front of the line. They're constantly pushing to get reps. They've been great inside of the meeting room in the early part of spring ball. They expect themselves to do the right things and be mature, be a vet almost as far as their understanding of the game. And those guys continue to compete in a really good way, offense, defense, and special teams.
And you talk about the tight end position from a standpoint of, like, you got a couple of newcomers with Holden and Miles Kitzelman. How are they adjusting to the offense? And Kitzelman seems like a guy who, kind of arrived a little later than the rest and maybe flies under the radar a little bit more. What do you like about him?
Yeah, Miles wasn't here for bowl preparation, but those guys inside of our program, the guys that just got here, Miles and Holden, but Ethan Davis, a young player, all those guys made plays out there today, but they've been really consistent, in the first 5 practices too. I thought the new guys operated within our offense extremely well for their first time out on the field. Just, there's a certain way you got to play from snap to the echo of the whistle, but then, how we function and operate and communicate offensively, from the whistle, getting themselves lined up, getting in position, being efficient with their movement. I thought they did a really good job here for the first time.
What's the status of Cam Selden, and with his injury, do you look, at least consider looking into the portal for depth at running back?
Yeah, with Cam, unfortunate, just early part of spring ball, had an injury to his shoulder, had surgery on it. We'll kind of evaluate, where we're at as the rehab process gets started and base our decisions off of that and kind of where we project where he's going to be.
Where was Nico's operation today? How comfortable were you with him operating? What did you like that he did? Or would you like to see him go from one scrimmage to the next scrimmage?
Yeah, he's been really good just in practices lead up to it, being intentional, having conversations, making sure he's getting on the same page with the skill guys, but also with the offensive line growing and bringing energy to that group before driving during the course of it. I thought today, just the way he functioned and operated, controlled, the huddle, controlled. We went into a 4-minute situation at the end, understanding the play clock, game clock, all of that. Just functioned and operated extremely maturely today.
Going back to Pro Day, what's the most exciting part about seeing guys that you've coached go through this process?
Yeah, ultimately at the end of it, it's them getting to a franchise and putting the helmet and shoulder pads on and getting a chance to go compete for the, for a job. And it's the next part of their journey. Just, the maturity that our guys have had, and some of the feedback that we've gotten from NFL personnel that's at postseason bowl games, how they've, handled the combine process. Really excited for those guys, show some of the maturity and some of the things that our coaches are teaching those guys on a consistent basis while they're here in our program. Excited for today, just because they get an opportunity for those that, didn't go to the combine to put their next foot forward and put themselves in a position to go where they want to go. So today they're going to have an opportunity to showcase their athletic traits that, guys have already seen, NFL personnel has already seen on the film. So excited to see them go compete today.
Joshua, when you're dealing with injuries in spring, it's opportunities for other guys going at running back with Cam being out. What have you seen from Khalifa and Deshaun, and how big is the opportunity for them the rest of spring? What did you see from them today?
Yeah, D-Samp's been awesome, just energy, leadership, maturity, understanding of our offense. The young guys continue to take steps forward. Khalifa's done a really nice job. He's been extremely physical, was today as well. I thought he, finished going forward all the time. And Deshaun Bishop, young guy that got nicked up last year, just, his growth inside of our program, for him to get back on the field and showcase his skill set, handled the rehab process extremely well, and love the competition that he's brought. And Wilk and Barnes have done a really nice job.
You mentioned in your opening statement you really liked what you saw from the young DBs. Who stood out to you today?
Yeah, I already mentioned Boo. I thought he made plays. John Slaughter did a great job today, defending a deep ball down the sidelines. Just ball-me-man relationship and playing the 50-50 ball. Did a nice job on some of the tackles. Excited to go watch the scrimmage here. But Idris Farouk is a young guy that's consistently shown up here in the early part of spring ball too.
So a few names came up. Cam Selden, of course, is hurt and has already had shoulder surgery. What? I didn't get the story on how exactly that happened, but bummed out his shoulder, had a surgery, some sort of arthroscopic thing, I would imagine, and supposedly will be back for fall camp, which begins in August, but he's out for the spring. Boo Carter was another name that was mentioned a lot. I am betting dollars to donuts that Boo Carter is going to be not only a starting defensive back for the University of Tennessee Vols tackle football team, I would imagine that he is going to be the kickoff and punt returner. I hear he is electric. And on that point, I did not realize that D. Williams was gone. He came out early, I guess, huh? Went to the NFL, going to the NFL because he was listed in Pro Day. I didn't realize that. Another name that was mentioned, Mike Matthews, 5-star freshman receiver, evidently he took one to the house down the sidelines. That's generating some enthusiasm. Ethan Davis and Holden Stays, their names were mentioned. Khalifa Keith was mentioned with the words extremely physical. Those are good words. Those are good words when you're talking about running back for the University of Tennessee. I like that. And he's probably going to be the person to step up for Cam Selden, if they don't get somebody in the crazy transfer portal that's going to go crazy and explode after spring training. Nico. Found that interesting. 2 words were used with him. Extremely mature. I said it last video, I'm going to say it again. Nico Iamaleava is, in my opinion, going to turn out to be the best quarterback in college football. This year. That's what I think. He's so talented. And now it's turning out that he's got the smarts to go along with it. Way more talented than Peyton Manning, physically. But it looks like he's developing into that kind of mindset and that kind of smart set, that kind of extremely mature for his age set, which is going to give him an opportunity to use those amazing skills that he has. There was another word that we used a lot in that press conference, the word tackle, in a good way. And for those of us looking for some tackling, I'm excited to hear about that. And whose name came up a lot about that? Associated with the word tackle? Boo Carter. Boo Carter's going to end up starting. Interestingly enough, I didn't hear the name Lance Hurd in that press conference. Lance, of course, is the transfer from LSU. Young kid, sophomore, I guess. But didn't hear, nobody asked about him, in fairness. Nobody asked about him, but his name wasn't brought up at all. And somebody else that I wanted to hear a little bit about was Keenan Peely, the linebacker from BYU that got hurt last year. I was so excited to see him play. No mention of him. I guess he's still tender and still rehabbing to some degree, but maybe that was the reason. But all in all, Hype doesn't give a whole lot. He just doesn't give a whole lot of information. He gives just what's necessary. And you have to read the tea leaves. And the tea leaves yesterday that I got was Nico, extremely mature, and Khalifa Keith, extremely physical. I like that. So what do you think now that Cam Selden is out? Who are they going to be looking for in the transfer portal after spring training, after the spring game? Who do you think? Let me know. What position? And here's the second question I'm asking you. Who's getting on the bus out of town? Right? Who's going to do that? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun. At the same time, it's ruining college football. For me, it's just not the same. You know, for some of you youngsters out there, you don't care. It's fun. But for an old dog like myself and many of you who watch this program, it's just shit. It's the shit show. And I'm the shit supervisor. I will be back with you again on day 12, day 11, to see what Hype's analysis will be. And I think that's what he does, unless it's something special. He kind of goes first day, 6th day, 11th day. So I'm kind of following his thing. I also have another press conference with Nico. If you haven't seen it, I've cut it up. Like I said, my thing about the press conferences I've started to do this year is actually go get a really clean source of the press conference, cut it up, make it viewable, make it listenable, so that it's kind of a better user experience. And that's kind of where I'm spending my time here. So I got that Nico interview coming up today, as probably tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow, as well as the one you're watching now. So I will see you soon. Take care. Go Vols. Thanks for watching.